It's Buggy Monday at Drawing Club. Today we're drawing Freddy the Flashy Firefly. Okay, so this is Freddy the Flashy Firefly. And to draw Freddy, you will need a pencil, an eraser if you make any mistakes, a pencil sharpener, and then a black marker or a black pencil crayon to outline when you're finished with the pencil. But as usual, I am going to use a gray marker to draw just so you can see what I'm doing. So, Freddy's head is going to start with an oval shape, just like this. And then Freddy has three parts to his body because Freddy is a kind of insect. So he has a head, he has another circle for what's called the thorax. That's the middle part of his body. And then another long oval shape for his abdomen, which is the third or the back part of his body. So just like that, like a kind of an egg shape. Now, Freddy's got two big eyes, so we're going to make two big circles. This one's going to go just a little bit outside of the circle we made for his head. Just like that. And then we'll do the same on the other side. It'll go just a little bit outside of the circle we made for his head. Like that. And then we'll do our usual little spots of light in his eyes. So we'll give two little circles to show spots of light. And again, in his other eye, the same. And then I'm going to draw a curving line. It's almost going to look like we're drawing a little sad face inside of his eye. A curving line from one side of the eye to the other. And again, from one side of the eye to the other. And then I'm just going to quickly color in this part with my gray marker. You should be using your pencil for this. And at the end, you'll color this in with your black marker or your black pencil crayon. And when we finish the drawing, it's going to look like the light is shining from underneath Freddy the Flashy Firefly's abdomen and lighting up the bottom of his eyes. So you can just quickly use your pencil to color in Freddy's eyes. Okay. And Freddy has a happy smiling mouth, so I'm going to draw a curving line like this to show the top part of his mouth, and then a little loop at the bottom to show the rest of his mouth. Now Freddy has two long antennae that come off of his head. So here is one. So use a long curving line and then follow it back to connect like that. And then one more antenna connected to his head like this. And back like this. And don't forget, if I'm drawing too quickly, you can always pause the video and catch up. Okay, so I think I'm going to put Freddy's two wings on next before I put on his arms, because his arms are in front of his wings and it might be hard to draw the wings behind them later. So I'm going to draw two big kind of oval shapes, but I'm going to bring them back a little bit narrower there, just like this, like a big raindrop on one side of Freddy, and the same again on the other side, just like that. And those are Freddy's two wings. Next, Freddy is an insect. A firefly is not really a fly, it's actually a kind of beetle, and they have 6 legs. So I've given him 2 arms, 2 sets of arms, so 4 arms and 2 legs. So to do the arms, we'll just make 2 curving lines coming out like this. And then for the thumb, a little sausage like this. And then 3 fingers. 1, 2, 3. and the rest of the hand connects to the arm like this. And we'll do exactly the same under here. The 2 lines for his arm, that little bump for the thumb, and then the 3 fingers. 1, 2, 3, and connect back like that. And we'll do the arms on the other side. So the same 2 lines for the arm, the thumb, and the fingers. 1, 2, 3, and the hand down to the arm. And one last arm, like this, and the thumb, and then the fingers. 1, 2, 3. Just like this. And last, we need his 2 legs. You'll see that all of the arms and all the legs come off of the middle part of his body. This is the thorax. And for an insect, their arms and legs always come off this middle part of the body, never off the abdomen, the bottom part. So we'll give 2 curving lines for the leg, and then the top of his little boot is there, and I'm going to make a curving line down to there, and then I'm going to make a kind of a bean shape for the bottom of his foot, just like that. And he has 1 more leg, so a line like this, and then another kind of broken line or bent line like that. The top of that shoe, the back of the shoe, the front of the shoe, and then another one of those kind of bean shapes for the bottom of the shoe. I'll just connect it with a little line, just like that. And the last thing we'll do before we move over to our outlining marker is I'm just going to make a couple of little lines to show the sections of the abdomen. And this one I'm going to break up a little bit, just like this. Okay. So now we're going to switch over. So you should have been using your pencil. Now you're going to switch over to your outliner marker or your outliner black pencil crayon. And we are going to trace over, but again, this is a chance for us to make any changes we want to make to some of our lines. So I'm going to start with the eye here, and I'm going to add something to the eye using my black marker. So there's the eye shape, there are the light bubbles, there is the line at the bottom, and here I'm going to add a few little lines just along there. And then I'm going to quickly color the rest of the eye black. Now, fireflies are something that I really like. They're probably my favorite insect, or certainly one of my favorite insects. And the first time I ever saw them was when I lived in Japan. And I saw them in the mountains, and I was so excited to see them because fireflies, most types of fireflies, they really can flash on and off with beautiful light. And so there were all of these little green fireflies, or the green lights flashing on and off in the mountains. And then when I came back to Canada, because I had never seen them when I grew up in Ireland, and I had never seen them when I was a teenager in the west of Canada. But when I came back, and when I moved to Prince Edward Island, I was very excited to find out that Prince Edward Island also has fireflies. And near to where my mom and dad live, in Canoe Cove, there are lots of fireflies in the summertime. And so I could go and watch them flash on and off at night. And it's very beautiful and it's a very cool thing to see. Now, like I said before, a firefly is a kind of beetle. And And so it starts its life as an egg. And when the egg hatches, then this little kind of strange looking thing comes out called a larva. And it doesn't really look anything like the beetle when it's fully grown. It has all these little armor plates on it, and it crawls around. I found a lot of them recently when I was turning over logs in the forest and looking at the bottom. I found lots of these little, basically baby dragonflies, baby fireflies, crawling around under there. And what they like to eat are little snails. So they spend a lot of time eating those little snails and getting ready to change into a firefly. So there's lots of things you might have seen before. You know, many people know that butterflies start their lives as caterpillars. And it's the same for beetles. Beetles start their lives looking different, and then, just like a butterfly goes into a chrysalis, or a moth caterpillar goes into a cocoon, then they come out later on and they've changed their shape. And the same happens to the firefly. It goes into a little kind of hard shell called a pupa, and then it comes out and it's changed into what we're drawing now, a firefly. And that's when usually most fireflies, when they can flash their bright light on and off. And it's a very strange light they have. It's called a cold light because there's no heat that comes from their light. Usually when we turn on a light in our house, you can feel that it gets a little warm, but they have a very, very cold light, and it comes from a special chemical that's inside their bodies. And some of them look more white, kind of a white light. Some of them look more of a blue light, but usually the ones I've seen have a kind of a green light. And you know what? I don't actually know what the adult fireflies eat. That's something that I should research and check. But I'm going to make a little video all about fireflies because I have got lots of little videos I've made of fireflies, and I even caught a firefly a few years ago near my mom and dad's house, and I made a little video of it flashing on and off. And so I would like you guys to see that, so I'm going to put that video up later this week. One interesting thing is that that chemical inside their bodies that makes them glow so bright also makes them taste bad. So birds and frogs and other things that might like to eat bugs, they usually don't eat fireflies because fireflies do not taste very good. There's the abdomen again. And it's the bottom two parts here of the abdomen in a firefly that light up with that bright, bright light. Okay. And so I'm sure there's lots of other places on Prince Edward Island that have fireflies. So if you have a chance, maybe you can ask someone at home to take you out, an adult at your house, to take you out some night to a place here that has fireflies, and you could have a chance to see them, because they really are one of the most beautiful things you could ever see. Okay, so that is Freddy the Flashy Firefly. I'll just bring back the color version. So you can see that I colored him. I used a special pencil crayon, a neon green and a neon yellow, to make him really bright, but you could use just a regular green or a regular yellow. And I kind of colored his body a mix of oranges and reds, and then I wanted to show that light in his eyes, so I put that green up there in the eyes too, and along the bottom of his wings. But of course, you can color Freddy any colors you would like. Okay, thanks for coming, and I can't wait to see you guys again.